Welcome to Not Starving Artist, the podcast. I'm your host, Brooke Benson, money coach and equity actor. I am your financial cheerleader, here to help you build your financial confidence and have power over your money. The best part, no budgeting or bi-weekly paychecks required. I went from being a broke BFA grad having weekly panic attacks about money to a financially confident, wealth-building actor and business owner. Money gets to feel fun, simple, and sexy, and I am going to show you how. Hello, everyone. So excited you're here today because today we are going to talk about how to feel good when looking at your numbers. And I'm talking pulling up your bank accounts. I'm talking looking at your business financials, anything that has to do with your money and your numbers. I want you to feel ease doing it, and I want you to feel excited doing it. And the reason I want to talk about this is because I have kind of two camps of people. With a lot of my clients, they'll fall into these two camps of feeling unease when looking at their numbers, and it manifests two very specific ways. So I want you to tell me which of these two camps you feel you fall in. The first one is, how many of you feel anxious pulling up your bank accounts, right? And so you avoid looking at your numbers. You hold your breath when you press login, just a little bit of a breath hold, right? You're not logging in a lot. You're not really looking. It's like holding things at arm's reach. If you have a business, you just flat out don't look at your financials, or you're yeah, my CPA just does all that and gives me the rundown and yep, I'll just sign the papers, close eye, holding things at arm's reach. I just don't want to touch it, don't want to look at it, right? That's the first kind of person. Second kind of person is someone who's on the opposite end of the spectrum, looking at your bank accounts every single day, maybe multiple times a day, constantly checking in on the spreadsheets, doing future calculations, doing the math, right? You're looking at all your different accounts. You got all the things going on and you are checking it. And you're only feeling secure when you're doing the math and looking at the spreadsheets. If you have a business, you're checking in on your financials constantly, right? We are constantly in our accounting software. We are constantly looking back at things, constantly looking at the accounts, okay? Two different camps. I want you to think about which camp you fall into. And if you're feeling unease with looking at your numbers, you're going to fall into one of these two areas. Because what this is showing me, right? When I talk with clients about what they're experiencing, what this is showing me is that you don't feel comfortable being with your numbers in a healthy attachment style, right? We've got the secure, anxious, ambivalent, disorganized, and avoidant. We want a secure attachment style with our money. But if you're experiencing some of these other flavors that I just outlined, it means you're probably experiencing a different kind of attachment. You don't feel comfortable. You don't feel at ease. And I want to help you feel at ease when you are looking at your numbers. So what this is going to look like is it's going to be the energy of getting into bed with your money, but not being clingy, right? Being able to feel comfortable and excited about getting into bed with money, and then being okay, babe, see you in a little bit, right? You're able to get out of bed and not feel anxious about it, right? We're not getting clingy. We know that there's another date coming, so we can get into bed and get out of bed, get into bed, get out of bed, right? And we feel comfortable and at ease the entire time. So most of your money anxiety is coming from not having a plan. Most of your unease when it comes to looking at your numbers is because you've got confusion, you don't have a lot of awareness, or you're over aware, right? And you are constantly looking at the numbers. So there are four main things that I want to talk about today when it comes to feeling more at ease when looking at your numbers, feeling good looking at your numbers. The first one is about having a plan. We're going to go much more into detail in this very soon. The second one is not blacking out when you're managing and utilizing your money. Number 3 is setting aside time to be with your money, to look at your numbers. And then number 4 is checking in on your nervous system and your environment, cultivating spaces where your nervous system can actually feel at ease when you're looking at numbers. So we're going to talk about these 4 areas. So the first thing is having a plan. Having a plan. Now, some of you may, when you think about a plan, you're structure, nope, fuck that, don't want that, no, hard pass. And there might be some of you who are like, give me a fucking plan. Give me a to-do list. Give me a checklist. I'm going to get that thing done. I just want a plan and I can crush it. Okay? I'm going to talk about what a plan is, but for the first type of person, if you don't have a plan and you have an aversion to plans, I want you to know that most of your anxiety and confusion is coming from not having a plan. Because every time you're opening up your bank accounts, you have no idea what's going to be in there. Of course you're going to be in some fight or flight mode. Of course you're going to feel uneasy because you're like, what the fuck am I getting into today? Right? So when you don't have a plan, it's just promoting unease and not feeling good because you have no idea what you're getting yourself into when you open up those accounts. It takes a lot of energy to be confused about your money. Confusion is one of like the biggest energy sucks out there. So you're confused. It's taking a lot of energy to be confused. You never know what you're getting into when you open up your account. So of course you're not feeling good. And then for my person who like loves a fucking plan, loves a plan, give me the plan, give me the checklist, but you don't actually allow yourself to trust the plan that has been created or that you've created, right? You're holding so tightly onto the plan. You're like, but I'm doing the fucking plan. I just need to do the plan and then nothing will ever go wrong. And then if something like a wrench gets thrown into the plan, then it spins you out and then you feel uneasy. If any dollar is out of order when you're looking at your numbers, it throws you off, right? You're white knuckling a plan that you've created or that you've been given or that you've looked up, right? You're holding so tightly that you don't give it any room for flexibility, which is what life is, which is what being a human is. And also you lack the self-trust of being able to like let the plan do its thing, right? A plan should be automated. A plan should make things easier, but you're like micromanaging the plan. You're being a micromanager. So you can't just sit back and feel ease, right? And feel good about your numbers. Just letting them be, logging in, feeling calm, feeling that ease because of the white knuckling. So when it comes to creating a plan that's actually going to work for you and help you feel ease looking at your numbers, feeling ease inside of the plan, two things. One, it needs to be a plan that you actually like, right? That actually makes you feel good. That doesn't make you feel restricted. A lot of us think that like a plan needs to be this thing that like restricts us and keeps us on track and make sure we don't fall off the bandwagon or fall off the rails, whatever that phrase is, right? So we need to create one that actually makes sense for you. So this is why I don't teach budgeting, by the way, right? Because budgeting makes you like line item, decide exactly what you're going to be spending throughout the month. And it gives you no flexibility. And the whole vibe is like cut back, cut back, cut back. We're spending less. We can save more, all of that. That's not the energy here. We're just proactively deciding. This is proactive, being proactive versus reactive. You're proactively deciding how you want to use your money instead of just purely being reactive, right? So you're proactively deciding, this is the plan part, proactively deciding how you want to utilize your money instead of just reacting to it at the end of the month or 3 months and you haven't looked at your numbers and you're like, oh fuck, what am I supposed to do now, right? So we want to create a plan that's proactive and then that also mimics your life, right? So we're not going to try and cut back a bunch of shit just because you want to spend less and you want more, like higher numbers in your bank account. So I just want to spend less. No, I want you to create a spending plan, create spending goals that actually mimic how you like to use your money. Right? So this is why I have my clients go and they look at their past 3 months of spending data. I just have them go look at where they're normally spending money, whether that's through your debit card and your checking account or your credit card or wherever it is. And you're just going to go look at the overall numbers of like, what are you averaging spending month to month on like 2 categories, bills and then like flexible spending, right? So like groceries and food is usually a huge chunk, right? But other things that pop up. And you're going to get an average for that number. So now you have a number that you can work off of when you're creating a plan. So then when you're planning out what you want to spend in the month, it's not like, oh, I'm making a plan so that I'm going to spend less and have more in my bank accounts. You're like, I'm making a plan so that I'm not freaked out when I open my bank accounts, so that I know exactly what to expect in my bank accounts. The crazy thing that I have witnessed from being a money coach for this many years with this many one-on-one clients is that so many of my clients feel immediate ease after our first month working together and implementing a spending plan, implementing this proactive money plan that doesn't restrict. We're just naming the numbers that they want to spend based off of what they've already been spending, setting the expectations of what those numbers are going to look like in their bank accounts. No income has changed. No spending has changed, but immediate ease after that first month of implementing a plan. Because instead of being confused and shook and like not sure, you're trusting your plan and you know what to expect when you pull up your bank accounts. Immediate ease, immediate feeling good looking at your numbers because I made the decision on what I wanted those numbers to look like. I created the plan that resulted in those numbers and I knew exactly what numbers to expect. That is the beauty of having a plan. And I'm just going to hammer this point home super hard because I want you to hear it. Creating a plan, the goal of it does not have to be spending less. It doesn't. The goal could be spending more. The entire energy of having a plan is so you know what to expect, you are creating it, and that you're being proactive. You're signing off on your decisions. You're saying, yep, I like that. Yep, I like how those numbers are most likely going to look at the end of the month because of this plan that I created. I created it. I have the power. Do you see how that's a fun empowerment energy too? Financial CEO, boss bitch energy. I've got this. I made the plan. I know what to expect. Okay? So that's the first thing. The second thing that I want to say is when we're creating a plan, I always teach my clients that we're going to focus on what you want to spend first. We're not going to try and like create saving and investing goals first, right? Because spending is the most important part. We want to make sure you feel really good about spending and we're flexing the skill of spending because at the end of the day, everything we do with money is to spend it. Saving is so we can spend it in the future. Investing so we can spend it in the future. Making more money so we have more to spend and then also save and invest. And the end goals of saving and investing are to spend more in the future. So we want to get really good at the skill of spending. And I want you to feel really good spending. So that's why we always start with spending goals first. I want you to spend first. That's the first part of our plan. And then the rest of it, then we can play with where do you want to put that extra money? You want to spend it now? You want to spend it later? Because that's all the decision is. It's spending it now or spending it later. So we're focusing on spending first. Okay. So that's the first thing, having a plan. Having a plan is immediately going to decrease your anxiety and your confusion. Immediately. This is also why this is what I start with my one-on-one clients. When we start coaching together, we create a plan. By the end of our second call together, you will have a spending plan and a money flow set up that automatically implements your plan. We have that by the end of the second call because this is what's going to provide the quickest and easiest anxiety relief. And then we'll play with all the other stuff that you want to play with, your goals, other money, things that you want to achieve, what you want other accounts to look like. Then we get into all that. But this is why we always start with it because it's the easiest way to feel immediate anxiety relief, having a plan. All right, number 2, not blacking out. Not blacking out. So I talk about the fuck it blackout a lot. And the fuck it blackout is when you are going to spend money on something or like you see an Instagram ad pop up on something that like looks really cute that you want to buy, or you've had a really like stressful day at work and you're sitting on the couch and you're like, okay, I kind of just want to order Uber Eats and like all of these things, which aren't in and of themselves like bad money things or like bad things to spend money on. That's not it at all. But what happens here is like in those moments, all of a sudden we start to go into a fuck it blackout, right? Where it's like the decision of that becomes so overwhelming. So you've got all this noise in your head of like, I shouldn't spend money on that, or that is in alignment with my values, or like, fuck, I'm just so stressed. I just really want the thing. Fuck. And you like feel yourself going into it. And then all of a sudden you black out and you just hit buy, hit order, hit whatever it is, right? Or you swipe your card, whatever it is, you black out, make the money decision. And then a little bit later you like come to and you're like, well, done it now, right? That's a problem for future Brooke. Or like, yeah, I'll deal with that later. Or like, oh, oops, already done. Right? So what you've done inside of these fuck it blackout moments, which are just like impulsive urges where you just get so overwhelmed with like making a decision because you're not really sure, you're trying to numb out, or you're trying to like process something, or you've just got like a lot of noise in your head and you can't really hear what you really want. All of these things can contribute to a fuck it blackout. But what I want you to notice is the issue inside of this. It's not the impulsive purchasing. What the issue is the moment that you black out is when you're making a money decision and when you're going to utilize money. You've blacked out, you've removed yourself, you've literally gone into like a different state of like autopilot, not thinking, blackout. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about this in a second, but the reason that I want to bring up the not blacking out as one of the core pieces to feeling good about your money is because when we have a plan of what we want to spend, that's great. But then if you're doing a lot of this like fuck it blackout energy throughout the month and you like don't have your plan in mind and you've just like gone into this like autopilot haze whenever you go to manage money, like we can have the plan, but then it's actually got to be implemented in a way that feels good to you. So if you're doing a lot of fuck it blackouting, two things could be the cause. One, you're just really stressed. You've got an overwhelming life, right? And that's something that we want to look at. If that's causing you, or something to the effect of like you're numbing out feelings, you're self-soothing, we don't have other tools to self-soothe, that energy. Or two, you've created a plan that doesn't actually work for you. Because if you're doing a lot of fuck it blackout, because in your brain you're like, I have to spend less because of the plan, I have to spend less because of the plan, then that isn't a sustainable plan. Then we have to go and adjust your plan. If it's not that, then we go and we focus on like, what are some tools that we can give you to decrease overwhelm, increase capacity for you to feel your feelings and process your feelings? Like, what are things you can implement in your day-to-day life that relieve stress? What are some other tools for self-soothing, right? What is the cause, or what is the thing that needs the self-soothing? Like, let's focus on the root causes, right? Because the fuck it blackout is going to it's going to make it hard for you to have your plan in mind and stay in alignment with what you want with your money, because you're constantly going into a place where you're not present when you're making money decisions and when you're utilizing money. And the thing about being present when you're utilizing money, the whole energy of what we do here and what I do with my clients is I don't want you to just do the things because you should do the things. That's a really shitty money management strategy, right? Because that requires like willpower and like an authority figure that knows all that you just listened to. I want you to have self-trust and feel really good as you're making money decisions. But if you're like holding your breath as you're like pressing pay rent, or you're blacking out every single time you're buying yourself something because you feel guilty for indulging, or like it is in alignment with your spending, like who knows what the reasons are. But if you're constantly blacking out, you're not training your body to feel good with money. You're not training your body to feel ease around money. That's what I want for your body. I want you to feel really good every time you pay rent. I want you to feel really good every time you buy something really indulgent for yourself. I want you to feel really good anytime you buy Uber Eats for yourself. And what this does is when you're feeling really good with every single time you're using money, you're utilizing money, spending it, when you go to look at your numbers, that number is going to feel good because every single thing that contributed to that number felt really good. So I want you to, right, we want to really focus on not blacking out when you're managing money, because when you're fully present and excited about the decisions you're making as you're utilizing money, then when you look at your numbers, you're going to like the numbers that you see because you made the conscious decision for every step along the way that made that final number. So when it comes to not blacking out, that's the only thing that I want you to do. I just want you to not black out. I don't care what decision you make at the end of the blackout. I just want you to sit with your feelings. Like when you're feeling the blackout coming on, and you'll hear it now, you'll notice it in your own brain. Like now that you have this language for it, you will hear yourself start to like that fog and that chatter of like, fuck it, I deserve it, fuck it, I whatever. Like that will start to come into your brain. And when you start to feel that impulsive energy of just wanting to like press the button or order the thing or swipe the card or whatever, I want you to just sit with it for 90 seconds, 2 minutes. I want you to set a timer, and I just want you to sit with your feelings and just feel it. Feel whatever shitty feeling is coming up. Hear all the voices that are screaming in your head. Feel the feeling you're trying to push away, right? What are you trying to self-soothe? Like, I just want you to sit in the muck of it. And it's going to feel uncomfortable, but it's not going to kill you. I just want you to sit in it. Right? And you tell yourself, you sit in this for 90 seconds, 2 minutes, and then you can make whatever decision at the end of it. But we're not blacking out. We are making a decision and we are going to be fully present in it, right? Even if it's not in the cleanest energy, whatever, I don't care. I just want you to sit in the mucky feelings and then make a decision fully present in those feelings. It doesn't matter what the decision is. Because as you do that, like your body will automatically want to make decisions that feel less mucky, that feel better than what you're currently sitting in, right? So what you're doing is you're allowing your body to, this is like feelings first money management. You're allowing your body to tell you what you want to spend money on and what you don't. Like your body's telling you yes or no, or it's giving you cues on other things you want to look at and focus on and tune into, right? And maybe adjust and tweak. So we're not blacking out. That's number 2, not blacking out. Number 3, setting aside time to look at your numbers. Setting aside time. This is a weekly or a monthly money date. For those of you who are just starting on a financial wellness journey, like all this money stuff feels really new, I want you to have weekly money dates. For those of you who are my people who look at money all the time, feeling very like attached to the spreadsheets, or you kind of been in your financial wellness journey for a little bit, right? And you're just wanting to hone in on this relationship a little bit more, monthly money dates. I call these financial CEO parties. So what this is doing, when you set aside time to look at your numbers, it's doing 2 things. One, it's giving your nervous system the chance to calm down during the week when you're not having a money date. Right? Because you know there's time set aside 1 time a week or 1 time a month where you can look at numbers and you can feel the things about the numbers, right? But the rest of the time you're like, we don't even have to think about it. We don't even have to worry about it because we've already got time set aside. So you're bringing ease and calm into your week. And then when you do have time set aside, it's giving yourself time to get into a good place. And you're expecting it, it's not a surprise. So you can sit down and be with your numbers and be with your money and navigate your money in a very specific time. So you also are giving yourself weekly time to build that relationship and look at your numbers and do the money things. So then you're actually going to be able to make forward process in whatever goals and things you desire with your money. So I say set a reoccurring standing time, like 9 a.m. on Sunday mornings with a cup of coffee, or like Thursdays after work at your favorite happy hour, right? Making sure you have secure Wi-Fi, of course. But setting aside that time. So you know time is set aside, and the rest of the time you don't have to worry about it and you don't have to think about it. All you have to focus on is not blacking out the rest of the time. That's all you have to worry about. Because your plan is being done in the background. Again, this is something I teach in one-on-one coaching, the money flow method, where your spending plan is being implemented in the background automatically for you. You're making decisions once a month, and then it's being implemented for you, so you don't have to constantly keep like looking in and checking on it and all of that. Ease. That's all this is about. So then the fourth thing that kind of goes along with this third point is giving your nervous system a comfortable environment to be in as you're navigating and looking at your numbers, right? So many of my clients, as well as me at the beginning, right? We would just do our money stuff at the end of the day, or we just like, fuck it, let's just do it. Let's just look at it. You're on your computer after work, or like you're not giving yourself an environment that feels full of ease, that feels good. And you're expecting yourself to feel good about your numbers in an environment or a setting where you're like rushed and you're not feeling good and it's not a cute environment. Like things are at odds here. So let's put you in a place where you feel calm first, and then we'll add in the numbers and the money second. So things I just said before, like if you feel really good at like your favorite bar at a happy hour, that's my MO, do that. If you want to make yourself like a really delicious cup of coffee, if you're one of those people that has like an espresso machine, you make your little latte, you got the syrups, put on some jazz music in the background, take your computer away from your desk or like away from in a different area, take it out to the patio now that it's about to get warmer out, right? Make it a moment, put on a different set of clothes, put on your loungewear. I sometimes like to have a little dance party to like get my, like all the good feelings coursing through my veins. T-Pain is always my go-to. I fucking love T-Pain. I'll like blast some T-Pain, have a little dance party and then sit down and I'm like, feeling good. I've got a glass of wine next to me and we are doing the numbers. We are looking at the numbers. So all of these things together, when you're in an environment where you're feeling good and your nervous system is calm, you know that that time is coming up because you've set it aside. You haven't blacked out, right? So you've been really present with everything you've been doing and you set a plan earlier where you like know what to expect when you're going to look at your numbers. Then when you actually pull them up, you're going to feel ease. You're going to feel good, right? So all of these things together, this is what I want for you. And why do I want you to feel good and feel ease looking at your numbers? 2 reasons. 1, because you are going to be in a relationship with money for the rest of your life. Money is going to be a part of your life forever and ever and ever until the day you die, right? It's your longest relationship. So if you're like not feeling good every single time you're looking at your money or interacting with your money, God, that's like a really long time to be feeling shitty for a chunk of your life, right? Like if you're checking in on your money every few days and every single time you check in on it, it feels shit. Like that's a lot of like shit moments that compound into a huge chunk of shit time throughout your life. So I want you to feel really good because you're going to be spending a lot of time with your money for the rest of your life. I just want it to feel good. Life is too short to feel shit about your money. The second thing is that when you feel good looking at your numbers, when you feel ease being with your numbers and with your money, it's going to make you want to continue to be in that space, right? It is going to disintegrate the avoidance because once you feel good one time looking at your numbers, you're like, oh, this isn't bad. Oh, wait, I actually kind of like this, right? So when you start to get that, not just in your brain, but in your body, you are reteaching, retraining your body. Money is safe. Being with our money is good. We like being with our money. This is fun. This is exciting. Be here more. We like this. When you're in that space, you're automatically going to want to keep showing up to your relationship with money. You're going to want to keep showing up to the steps you've put in place to improve your financial situation. Your body wants to continue doing things that feel good. So instead of trying to like force yourself via submission and via willpower, like a lot of these, like you just have to like know that when you stick to this budget, like you're going to grind and you're going to pay off all your debt and then it's going to feel good. Like all that energy is like submit. Do the right thing. You're a piece of shit if you don't. That's the energy that it has. And like, that's not a sustainable strategy. We've seen this. What is it? 95% of diets fail. It's because diets are all about like, just have willpower and do it because you know it's good for you. That doesn't help, right? You actually have to make it feel good in your body to make it sustainable. You have to learn to like it for it to be sustainable. So let's create a plan that you like. Let's put you in an environment that you like. Let's make sure you're not surprised so you don't get thrown into fight or flight. We have control over all of these things. It doesn't have to suck. Managing your money doesn't have to suck. Looking at your numbers doesn't have to suck. You just have to implement a couple of little things and then all of a sudden, ease. Feeling good. So it's going to put you back in power over your finances because you're not avoiding them. They no longer have control over you. You have control over them. You have a clear picture of your numbers. So then if you do, like if you're looking at your numbers and you're deciding on goals, right? And because you feel good looking at your numbers and you've been doing it often, you're like, oh, interesting. From like a neutral place, I like my plan. And also like there's other things that I want to do with my money that these numbers aren't really aligning for. Great. Now we actually have a place to work from, right? Like you have the data in the numbers. We know you like your plan and we know the goals that you want. So now we have an actual equation that we want to solve for, right? And then you also like you get to enjoy spending your money this way because you're the one creating the plan for what you want and get to spend. You have the power. You get to choose, right? And you're not blacking out. So it's forcing you to be in this place where you have to like all of your spending decisions. And that gets to be a fantastic thing because when you do this, when your goal is to enjoy every single time you spend money, even when you're using it for self-soothing, I do that. I use money to self-soothe, but I'm naming it that. I'm saying, yep, I was about to go into a fuck it blackout. I'm not going to black out. I'm acknowledging that right now, this like thing that popped up on Instagram, like makes me really excited. And like, it is like tickling a piece of my brain that is really calming the like stress I'm feeling or the anxiety I'm feeling. And I'm clocking that. And guess what? I know that my plan has the bandwidth to receive that spending, that purchase. So I'm going to say, yes, it's a self-soothing purchase and I'm signing off on it. I like my decision. Yes, thank you, ma'am. Right? So everything is going to feel good. I hope you're noticing a through line here. I want everything you do with money to feel good. Because if it doesn't, it's not sustainable. And if it doesn't, you have the power to shift it. Thanks so much for tuning in. Come join me on Instagram for more on how to build a simple, sexy relationship with your money. My Instagram handle is @NotStarvingArtists. And if you want to dive deeper with me, head to the show notes to learn more about one-on-one coaching. If you love this episode, subscribe, leave a review, and share it with a friend that you want to get rich with.